What's up everyone, Darcblade here with a quick information video going over all the trophies and achievements for Monster Hunter World Iceborne. Recently the trophy list leaked for Monster Hunter World Iceborne. I'll leave a link down in the description below where I found it, and it gave us an insight into what we can expect in terms of the trophies and achievements obviously, but also potentially what is going to be included in Monster Hunter World Iceborne when it releases. So before I go into this video, I'm going to put a big spoiler warning here. If you don't want to be spoiled on any of the trophies or achievements or potentially what they could reveal, then click away and come back to this video later. Anyway, if you're still here, spoiler warning is over, let's get into the video. Anyway, first of all is the Conqueror of the Hinterlands. Basically it's the Platinum Trophy for Monster Hunter World Iceborne, nothing too special. All you have to do to get there is complete all the other trophies in the list. Anyway, next is the beginning of a new expedition, and to get this you have to earn the right to take on 1-star Master Rank assignments. Next is Time to Get Serious, which is pretty straightforward, just earn the right to take on 2-star Master Rank assignments. Next is the Elusive Elder Dragon, earn the right to take on 3-star Master Rank assignments. Next is the Indomitable Spirit, earn the right to take on 4-star Master Rank assignments. And finally is the Old Everworm, earn the right to take on 5-star Master Rank assignments. All straightforward there, and the progress is pretty self-explanatory. The final one that is kind of linked to this in a way is an end and a beginning, and it solved the mystery of the Old Everworm, which I assume is the trophy for completing the main story of Monster Hunter World Iceborne. Anyway, the next trophy is To the Land of Discoveries. This requires players to reach the Guiding Lands. This is either a portion of the Hoarfrost Reach, or maybe, just maybe, a completely new area which I suspect is further north of the Hoarfrost Reach. But we'll have to wait and see how that one works out. Next is Evolving Ecology. This requires you to raise any region to level 7. This is interesting as we've not really had any information regarding levels related to the various regions in Monster Hunter World, so it's going to be interesting to see how this works. Next is In the Search of Rare Materials, and requires hunters to gather materials at rare outcrops and bone piles. Pretty straightforward. Next is the Insatiable Investigator, and it's to analyze 50 special tracks. I assume this is going to be very similar to finding and tracking down the various tracks as we did with the Monster Hunter World storylines when we were looking for the Pink Rathian as well as the various Elder Dragons. So I can see that one being pretty straightforward. Next is the Fate's Conclusion, which I assume is going to be an endgame one as it requires players, now a bit of a spoiler here, to slay Ruiner Nergigante in the Guiding Lands, removing the cap on the maximum master rank. So from this trophy we can speculate a few things here. First of all, Ruiner Nergigante, is that a new variant or subspecies of Nergigante? I'm leaning more towards a variant of Nergigante, as some of the other trophies kind of hint at there being lots of variants. It mentions the Guiding Lands again, which I do wonder if it's going to be part of the Hoarfrost Reach or not. And then there's removing the cap on the maximum master rank. So I assume as well as hunter rank we may have a master rank to go alongside it. And removing the cap could potentially mean that we are allowed to level up past a certain point, similar to what we did with hunter rank and the vanilla Monster Hunter World, where we were at a cap for a certain point, and then once we got into tempered monsters and that cap kind of broke and we could keep going past it. But for me personally, this looks like an endgame trophy, and seeing Nergigante still being at the forefront of things is quite pleasing. Anyway, next is Master Explorer, establish all camps in the Hoarfrost Reach, pretty self-explanatory. Next is Source of Relaxation, spend some time in a natural hot springs. This again is pretty self-explanatory, most people have already done this during the beta or seen it in trailers. All you have to do is kind of sit down or crouch whilst in a hot spring and probably activate the buff that it gives you. Next is the Clutch Claw Neophyte, and it's to study the ways of the Clutch Claw. I assume this is the tutorial behind the new gadget. The next set of trophies are going to be interesting for pet collectors out there. First of all is the Golden Gleam, capture a creature with a golden gleam in the Hoarfrost Reach. Next is the Friendly Pointer, capture a creature that seems to be pointing at something. Next is Sweet Melody, capture a creature that creates a beautiful melody. Next is Submerged Mystery, which I assume is going to be a fishing based one, capture a mysterious creature lurking beneath the water's surface. So yeah, a fishing one. Next is the Celestial Illusion, capture a fantastical creature that floats through the skies. Next is the Deft Digger, capture a creature that loves to dig holes in the ground. And finally is Creatures of the Earth, capture a hole digging creature from every region. So the Deft Diggers I assume are found everywhere in Monster Hunter World Iceborne, and we're going to have to get one from each location. Next is the Unwavering Defense. Obtain 5 extremely rare pieces of armor. I assume this is just going to be the highest level armor we have now, and will come in time. Next is Devastating Offense. Obtain 5 extremely rare weapons. Next is Personal Treasure. Equip your first pendant, which I hope is actually going to be a new piece of jewelry, which is going to be very interesting. Apart from that, I haven't really heard much about pendants, unless there's something lost in translation here, although the information I did receive was in English, so they could mean charms, I'm not so sure. But if you do know what this is, leave a comment down below. Next is First Ride, and to get this all you have to do is use your first Raider Ride. Next is Experienced Rider, and this is to use the Raider Ride many times. It doesn't actually state how many times it is required, but I assume we're going to be using them a lot, and this one will be relatively simple to get. Next is Fledgling Collector. This is to find your first treasure. I think this means that there's going to be collectibles around the various areas in Monster Hunter World Iceborne, because the next trophy is Veteran Collector, to find all the treasures in a single location, and then finally is Ultimate Collector, which is to find all the treasures. Anyway, next is Remodeler. This is to change your room's interior for the first time. Obviously one related to changing the style of your Celiana room. Next is Interior Decorator. Have 50 different types of room decorations to choose from. Next is the Architectural Artist, and that is to have 120 types of different room decorations to choose from. So there's going to be lots to do for those of you who like to decorate or play around in your rooms. Next is the Eager Engineer, and this is to help the Steamworks 20 times. I'm sure this will come in time. And finally is Skilled Steamworker, which is to send the Steamworks into overdrive. We've seen this happen in multiple live streams from the Capcom developers, and it's a new way to not only kill time but potentially reward yourself by helping out the engineer in Celiana. Anyway, next, and one that's probably going to annoy some people, is another miniature crown. This is obtain your first miniature crown for capturing endemic life in Master Rank. So firstly, obviously our suspicion when we played the beta, there are small and large gold crowns for the various endemic life in Monster Hunter World Iceborne. But from this it also appears that they're only available in Master Rank, but we'll have to wait and see how this pans out. Next is another giant crown. Obtain your first large gold crown for capturing endemic life in Master Rank. Next is Fledgling Observer, which is to complete your first request from the Linean researcher. So we're going to have more quests related to our palicos. Obviously this is probably going to be related to upgrading the palico equipment we have in Monster Hunter World Iceborne. Next is Outstanding Observer, which is the next evolution of the previous trophy, which is to complete many requests for the Linean researcher. Next is Helpful Hunter, and is to aid a low rank or high rank hunter on 10 quests as a master rank hunter. Next is Master of Masters, and it's to reach Master Rank 200. Next is Monster Master, which is to maximize the research level for almost all large monsters in the game. Next, and which is going to annoy some people, is True Miniature Crown Collector, and is to obtain a small crown for almost every monster in your hunting log. Next is True Large Crown Collector, and it's to obtain a large gold crown for almost every monster in your hunting log. So much like Monster Hunter World Iceborne also requires us to get large and small gold crowns. Next is the True Hunt Begins, which is for hunters to hunt their first large monster in a master rank quest. Pretty straightforward. Next is Hunter Prodigy, which is to hunt 100 large monsters in master rank. Next is Master Capturer, and it's to capture 50 large monsters in master rank. And next for this section is Master Slayer, which is to slay 50 Elder Dragons in Master Rank. And finally the last two are kind of linked. First is Confronting the Unknown, which is to hunt your first variant monster. And finally is Seen It All, which is to hunt 30 variant monsters in Monster Hunter World Iceborne. So we haven't been revealed all of the variants yet, but this obviously indicates that there's going to be a lot more, which is exciting news. So there we have it. Those are all the trophies that were revealed in this document I got my hands on. Obviously, like I said, take this maybe with a pinch of salt, as the information behind the trophies may be speculation, like for example when I talk about the Ruiner Nergigante. But hopefully this gives you an idea of what to expect when Monster Hunter World Iceborne releases in September. So what are your thoughts? Leave a comment down below, and until next time, I've been Darcblade, bringing you an information guide to the trophies and achievements in Monster Hunter World Iceborne. Hope you enjoyed the video, thanks for watching, subscribe and like for more.